Hi, my name is Megan Millender, and this is the 8th video installment of Megan Millender Does the NHL. Actually, over this Olympic break, I plan on zeroing in on different teams. Tonight, I plan on doing the Detroit Red Wings, kind of like a seasonal analysis, how they started off, how they're doing now, whether or not they'll be a playoff threat. For starters, with Detroit, the biggest problem I've found is obviously the amount of injured players that they've had over the season. It's been really hard on the team, especially not only since they're good players that have been injured, but it hurts the mindset of the team going into games. For some reason, the entire team has been completely brittle all season. I'm not sure if they're not getting enough calcium in their diet or whatever it is, especially with players getting hurt during practice and things like that. With the team being healthy recently, it looks like they have picked up play a little bit. We really needed that compete at that time. We really needed that enforcer of the team. And Abdel did step up, but I wish we would have seen a little bit more from him, like the way he played when he was at Grand Rapids. The team, however, did surprise me a few times throughout the season. It was almost like they went into it with the mindset of, hey, we've got some really good players out on injured reserve right now. Let's go out there, let's surprise the fans, let's surprise ourselves, and let's ignite this offense and get going. While that mindset did prove effective for Detroit most of the time, it would cause them to pinch more often than they'd end up getting scored on, which is how they lost games like whenever they were playing LA, up 3-0 and still ended up losing that game. Detroit, at one point in the season, went 5 games in a row when they were up by 2 goals and still ended up losing. I think having everybody back on the team and healthy is going to help them out a lot. They seem to play a lot better together whenever all the players are healthy. I think it's been good for Detroit that they've been kind of floating around that playoff bubble all season. In the next month after the Olympic break, obviously right before playoffs start, I'm hoping they'll burst into that 7th or 6th spot in the playoffs for the Western Conference. I definitely think they can. If all their players remain healthy, that they definitely have a shot. Realistically, they're probably going to end up in the 7th or 8th seed, and they'll probably have to play San Jose or Chicago. I'm not sure if they have a shot at the Cup necessarily this year. There are so many talented teams out there, and I do expect to see a lot of trades go on before the playoffs start. But if they do start Howard and all of their players remain healthy, I think they've got a shot to make it into the 3rd or 4th round of the playoffs. A few things that I think Detroit needs to work on is, since they have most of their players back and healthy again, they need to be pinching less often. Detroit needs to start playing like the Red Wings that we know and love. Well, maybe not all of you necessarily love them, but the Red Wings that we know for sure. One way that I've noticed the Red Wings have always played is they play a strong defense, and that strong defense helps drive the offense forward. And when they're driving forward, it helps develop more goals for the team, which is one way that the Red Wings have always won. If Detroit can get back into that mindset and not pinch as often as they have been whenever they did have players out on injured reserve, I definitely think they have a good chance in the playoffs this year, a very good chance. And if they're starting Jimmy Howard, definitely a good chance. This team has a lot of talented players, and I think we can all see it. But that's really all I have to say about the Detroit Red Wings for tonight. You can expect me to do a few more teams this week. I definitely plan on doing the Dallas Stars. I think there's a lot to say about that team. I think with the acquisition of Carey Lettinen, I think there's a lot of potential there. But until next time, my name is Megan Millender, and I just did the Detroit Red Wings.